Hello, everyone. This is Miss Grimes, and we're reading out of Chester and Gus today. Today, we're going to be reading pages 70 to 83. How to get ready, page 70. I don't go back to school the next day, or the next, or the day after that. Finally, Ms. Winger sent a note home saying, Chester may join us in school for an hour on Thursday. The night before, I have a hard time sleeping. I try to imagine what this will be like. I've seen classrooms on TV, which are loud with children's voices and chairs scraping. I'm most afraid of what will happen if something goes wrong. If Gus panics, it's possible I'll panic too. I don't think Sarah and Mark know what happened in the thunderstorm at the farm. They think of me as a smart dog who almost passed the service dog test, but didn't quite. They trust me to do the job, and I want to prove I can. Bottom of page 70, going to the top of page 71. I think about the birds building their nest. I can do this. I think I can. I wake up early in the morning and check the spot in the mudroom where my vest is laid out, along with my leash. I wait in the kitchen for hours, it seems like, for the others to wake up. 2 garbage trucks roll by and 1 recycling truck, but I don't bark at all. I have to stay concentrated. Today is the first real day of my first real job. I'm a working dog now, even if I don't have the same orange vest as my dog brothers. I will still have duties and responsibilities. I will do what I am told. I won't be too sensitive or overreact. When they finally wake up, I'm exhausted from waiting for this day to start. Turning the page from page 71 to page 72. School. Ms. Winger is standing in front of the school, waiting for us. I listen carefully to her conversation with Sarah. Most of the kids are very excited to have Chester in class. A few of them have had some bad experiences with dogs, though, and they're a little nervous. For the first day, we'd like to introduce Chester and give kids a chance to say hello, but I don't want to push it or have him stay too long. Does that sound okay? Fine, Sarah says, but I can tell she's mad. Just to remind you, though, he's meant to be here for Gus, helping Gus socialize and feel more comfortable around school. He's not here for the other kids. He's a service dog. He's a therapy dog, which is different. If the goal is helping Gus socialize with other children, then we need to make, turning to page 73, we need to make sure the other children are comfortable. Now I feel even more scared. Sometimes when I get scared, I accidentally bark. I have to remember not to. Barking scares kids. Barking is only good for talking to other dogs in the neighborhood. At school, there are no other dogs, only me. The classroom looks like classrooms I've seen on TV. All the children go quiet when we walk in. One girl points and says, "Oh, he's so cute." Gus wouldn't hold my leash in the hallway, so Sarah's holding it, walking us both up to the front of the room. Gus walks on his toes, flaps his hands, and makes squeaking noises. Ms. Winger pulls out 2 chairs for Gus and Sarah to sit down in. I sit next to Gus so kids will see us together, even though it means my leash is stretched across his lap. Ms. Winger says to the class, "Okay, Gus, would you like to introduce your friend who's going to be joining us in class in a few days a week?" Gus doesn't say anything, of course. Sarah leans in his ear and whispers, "Gus, say, this is my dog, Chester." Sarah is so smart. Sarah is smart to try this. The only time Gus talks out, page 73, the only time Gus talks out loud, top of page 74, is when he repeats the words someone else has given him. This time, though, he doesn't say anything. He pushes my leash off his lap so no part of me touches him. Sarah smiles at the group. "Hi, everyone. This is Chester. He's here to help Gus get more independent and better at talking with other kids. He's a very sweet dog, and Ms. Winger has said there will be certain times in the day when you'll be allowed to come over and visit with him if you're finished with all your work." Sarah's trying not to look nervous. She's better than Penny at this, but I can still tell. "Are there any questions?" A girl raises her hand. "What will he do for Gus?" That's a good question, Amelia, Ms. Winger says. We're working on that. We're working that out. For now, he'll be here in the mornings over in the special corner we've made for him. If Gus needs some chill time, he'll take Chester with him. Gus has to remember that Chester will be waiting to hear his commands. The only person who's allowed to tell Chester what to do is Gus. Does everyone understand that? Chester shouldn't have 18 voices telling him what to do. Only, top of page 75, only Gus, okay, everybody? I'm surprised hearing Ms. Winger say this rule. I've lived with Gus for a while now, and so far he's never given me a command. I wonder if Miss Winger knows this. Are there any more questions? One girl asks how old I am. Sarah tells her about a year. Another boy asks where I'll go to the bathroom and if someone will have to clean it up if I go number 2. We're going to take care of that, Wes. Don't worry, okay? Ms. Winger says. A tall boy with curly hair sitting toward the back of the class raises his hand. This whole time, he's been leaning back on 2 legs of his chair. He keeps almost falling and then he doesn't. Yes, Ed? It's kind of unfair that Gus gets to bring his dog in and the rest of us don't, isn't it? Sarah shifts in her seat, like she wants to answer this boy, but Miss Winger holds up one hand as if to say, let me. Remember, I explained this to everybody yesterday, Ed. Chester is a therapy dog. This means he has a job to do. The reason the rest of you can't bring your dogs to school is because you don't have specially trained dogs and you don't need help navigating your day. Now, why don't we wrap things up by, turn the page, page 76. Why don't we wrap things up by letting Gus show us some of the things Chester can do? I'll bet he has a few tricks, right? Ed's question made us both look down at the floor, but now Ms. Winger has made us feel better. Sarah sits up straighter. So do I. Oh, yes, of course, Sarah says. He'd love to show you a few things he can do. She leans into Gus's shoulder and whispers, do you remember what you say to get him to lie down? She waits for a second. Say, Chester, down. I start to lie down, but Sarah stops me. Not yet, Chess. Let Gus say it first. I sit back up and look at Gus, who is staring at something out the window. We all wait for a long time. Gus, Sarah says hopefully. Can you ask Chester to lie down? Miss Winger says. I look at him again. Can you say it, Gus? I'll do it if you try it. Or we can show them another trick. Penny taught me a few that she called silly party tricks, even though she never went to parties. One was Chester, pray, where I put my paws together and bend my face into them. If you put your hands together and pray, I'll do it too. Everyone always thinks that's funny. Top of page 77. We wait. We keep waiting. We wait for so long. I wonder if Miss Winger is doing this on purpose to show Sarah that Gus doesn't really want me here. I want to say, but look how much Sarah wants me here. Gus smiles at something out the window. I lick his hand, and so he remembers that I'm here and everyone is watching. Finally, Ms. Winger says, maybe we should let Gus's mom take Chester home now, and everyone should say thank you to Sarah and Gus for letting us meet Chester. She claps loudly, and a few kids join in. I look around, but we haven't done anything, I think. Then something happens. Gus's hands move together. He waits for a second so everyone is watching. Then without a sound, he puts them together. He's doing what I told him to do. He's praying. I lie down on the ground and put my paws together. Penny said it's even funnier if I put my nose under my paws, so I do that too. Sarah's the first one to realize what we've done. She laughs and claps. Good job, Gussie. You showed them a trick. Look, everyone, Chester is praying. Now they understand, and more kids clap. Turn the page. Page 78. Ms. Winger bends over me. Oh my goodness, puppy, what are you praying for? She's smiling like what we've just done has changed her mind on a few things. Like she was only pretending to like me before, but now she really does. Next chapter, page 79. How to tell a joke. I'm telling you, Mark, Gus wasn't even in the room when Penny showed me that trick. She's been smiling the whole time. She's told Mark the story about our school visit today. I know he wasn't, and I never showed him that trick because I would have assumed Gus doesn't understand what praying means. Obviously, he does, and the kids loved it. But how did Gus know Chester could do that? Mark thinks about it. He was listening outside the door when Penny was here. Maybe he's more interested in chess than we thought. That's the only explanation that makes any sense. He was learning. He was listening in when Penny told me all this, which means he understands so much more than we ever thought. Turn the page 80. He understands a joke. He even had great timing. He waited until the last second when Miss Winger had essentially said, "Show's over," and then he pulled out his last act. Mark smiles and shakes his head. And Gus really put his hands together? Yes, with the whole class watching. I don't know if it would make a difference if I told her. I don't think Gus just overheard your conversation. I'm pretty sure he just heard me. We hear each other sometimes. Would that make her feel better or worse? I'm not sure. How to worry. Next chapter, page 81. The next morning, I accidentally eat breakfast so quickly, I forget to taste it. Then I sit by the front door and wait to go to school again with Gus. No one explains anything until Sarah comes back for her cup of coffee and says, when she almost trips over me, "Oh, Chess, I'm sorry. You're not coming today. We're not going to school. Gus has a doctor's appointment in Hartford. Dogs can't come to doctor's offices." I wish I could tell her I know all about doctor's offices. I can press door openers and stand back so they don't hit me. I can help with elevators. I can't tell her this, of course, so I waited home alone all day, listening to the radio and mysterious stories interspersed, turn the page, interspersed with weather predictions that make me more and more anxious. Heavy rain will make driving conditions difficult. Is not what you want to hear over and over when all your people are in a car somewhere and you've had to pee since right after breakfast. You don't want to listen to the rain. You don't want to listen to rain or smell it or hear car horns in the distance honking. When Mark finally comes home, I'm happy until he says, "Hey, where are the others, Chess? They should be home by now." That's also not what you want to hear. I don't go back to my bed because lying on the floor makes it easier for me to hear and feel when a car comes in. I keep waiting for hours, it seems like. Finally, Sarah's car comes in. I smell them before the door even opens. I'm so relieved and happy. I dance around in circles, dribbling pee, though Mark just let me out a little while ago. "Oh, sweet Chester," Sarah says. "Were you worried? You shouldn't have worried. We just hit traffic coming home, that's all." Mark hugs Sarah and she tells him more. The doctor kept them waiting forever and ordered 2 tests they had to do then or else drive all the way back next week. "Did they tell you anything?" Mark asked. Page 83. "We have to wait. For now, we have periodic incontinence on top of everything else." I don't know what incontinence means, but I wonder if it has anything to do with the way Gus smells like urine sometimes. It's a smell I love. It makes me follow him around and sit outside his bedroom just to enjoy that cloudy aroma. I told the doctor it's happened 4 times in the last month, and it doesn't seem related to stress. He's checking urinary tract infections and some other things, kidney stones, bladder function. I only understand that something new and worrying is happening with Gus. I go and stand near him. He doesn't have his wonderful urine smell now, but it's okay. "This is what always happens, isn't it?" Sarah says to Mark, though she's looking at both of us. "We have one great day that feels like everything's changed, and then the next, it feels like nothing has." Page 83.